Hey guys, happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, August 8th, 2019. I always like to date these so I can go back and remember on the calendar when stuff happened. I am with the opera diva. Susan Neves is here from the Mikado. Hey Jennifer. Let us know you can hear us or see us. I'm super excited about this show thanks to Nicole Dupre, who's right next to me from Opera del Sol. She can come in. She looks amazing. There she is.
Hey.
She's got her walk-in. Shirley Stamper. Give us a heart and a thumbs up. Let us know you can hear us or see us. So Shirley, hi Shirley. We got our first heart. So Susan and Nicole and I have been having a great time talking pre-show. And you know, I'm a big supporter of Central Florida Vocal Arts and Opera del Sol and everything that these beautiful people do to provide wonderful performances in our town. And so when Nicole came to me, I'm like, yes, Susan Neves. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. So
I'm
thrilled to be here.
So excited. You have lived an amazing life. So everybody kind of like, before we get to the Mikado, before we talk about the concert, before we talk about opening night tomorrow night, people love to hear your story. Hey Brian, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thank you for all you do in the community. Tell us a little bit about you.
I've always loved music and singing. I was a cellist from very early on, and I play the piano. And
You're gifted.
I'm gifted.
I like gifted.
Well, I am European. My mother is French, and my father was Portuguese. And so I was born with this innate passion for Mediterranean music. And always loved singing, but used to do more operatic, musical comedies and operettas, stuff like that. But then I started singing, studying professionally only at the age of 18, which is kind of late, and at Manhattan School of Music. And I have enjoyed every single minute of my career, and I've been very, very fortunate. I've sung all over the world, in all the major opera houses, doing all those famous leading roles of Aida and Tosca and
Not the Elton John one.
Not the Elton John one. No.
We talked about that earlier.
That's right, the Verdi ones.
So talk about, but a lot of people, like, so you're born. Did you know, right, we talked about you're born.
Right.
You have the two parents, Portuguese, French.
Yep.
How early did you or your parents recognize that you had a vocal gift? Did you have an opera Barbie? That's always my
No,
thought process.
I actually didn't. But singing, I don't think was my passion right at the beginning.
That's right, because you were a cellist.
I was
first.
a cellist, and I loved that beautiful classical music sound. But I used to hum along when I was playing, and so my cello teacher said one day, I'd like to hear just the cello and not you. So
Please don't hum, Susan.
Please don't hum, Susan. And so I thought, okay. But then I auditioned at Manhattan School of Music then as a voice major, and they took me.
What was the transition like for that? Because cello, first of all, I have to ask you how you got into cello, and you can answer that in a minute.
Okay.
You make the transition, though, because playing an instrument and using your voice as the instrument, completely different.
It is completely different, but we're both musicians. And a lot of times they'll say, when they're calling us to rehearsal, we'll have the musicians at 11 and the singers at 11:30. I'm sorry, but singers are musicians,
I love that.
And sometimes we're not treated as musicians, but we are. And it's very nice that I come from a musician background, because it is beneficial when you're learning so many different roles and operas and languages. So it helps if you have a good musical background.
So what do you think, Nicole and I have talked about this before on the show, and Teresa too. Opera, when people hear opera, they either think of Bugs Bunny. I'm sorry, that's what they think of.
They do.
They think of that opera that Bugs Bunny was in, and he raises his hand, and
Right.
the guy has to go
Kill
Figaro,
the wabbit,
kill the
kill
wabbit.
the wabbit.
Exactly. So they're a little afraid of opera. Why is that? What do you think it is that makes people go, well, I want to go, but I'm afraid, I don't understand it?
Okay, in the olden days, it would be a medium for a select few, because the opera's in foreign languages, so you don't really know what was going on, and it was very stand there and sing or beat your breast type of acting. But with the birth of super titles in theaters, the operas are translated for you. So you can be sitting there listening to me sing Aida, which is written in Italian, and you are reading along where I'm saying, I have loved this man forever, and I'm going to kill every woman who tries to take him away from me.
Which is a universal language of love, by the way.
Exactly, and so people then can appreciate what we're saying, because the stories are much clearer.
They're universal. The stories are universal. The music, I think people are moved by the music. One of my favorite scenes in Pretty Woman, we all know it, is when he says you're either going to love it or not get it, basically. And she goes and she's moved by it. Yeah. I think if you can get people to an opera, to the theater, to listen, I think you're going to be moved by it. Yes. Because music speaks to the soul. It doesn't matter what the language is.
That's so true.
And so, all right, so talk about the Mikado.
Okay.
Talk about how you got involved with this amazing project. The Mikado, it's a concert. The Mikado is not an new Asian restaurant. I got a message about that. I have to share. It's pretty funny to me. The Mikado, talk about what even Mikado is.
Okay, the Mikado is a Gilbert and Sullivan operetta. There's a library of various operettas of this GNS. They're called GNS operettas by Gilbert and Sullivan. They're very British, but they're very funny. And, even though they were written, oh God, I'm going to sound like a jerk, but I think they were written in the 1800s.
We'll go with that.
We'll stick with that.
1898.
There we go.
Good.
Yay.
1800s. You
Yay,
made
hit it. Ooh, just close. And so some of them are a little too British for the general public. The Mikado is not one of those. The Mikado is full of tunes that we have heard forever. Three Little Maids from School Are We, A Wandering Minstrel I, My Object All Sublime, The Flowers That Bloom in the Spring. It's great. Exactly. The music is terrific. The comedy is very funny.
Because most people don't think of opera with anything comedic. They think somebody's dying at some point. Maybe 10 people are dying in it.
Well, actually, this is a great operetta because most of the operas that I sang in at the Met or all over the world, I either died by taking poison, or I was stabbed, or I jumped off, parapets to my death in Rome. This opera, not only do I not die, but I even get the guy.
Nice. So it has a happy ending.
It does.
Like
it actually has a happy ending for everybody instead of usually just the tenor and the mezzo.
So talk about that. You're singing in a lower range.
That's right.
This is new. So talk about
This is
that.
a new role for me, which is one reason that I'm thrilled that Central Florida Vocal Arts and Opera del Sol and Space Coast Orchestra gave me the opportunity to do this. It is a new role for me, and after 38 years of being
she's got that young skin, Nicole, right?
Professional opera for 38 years, it's very nice to discover a new aspect of the theater world. So I have to have dialogue. I read dialogue, or I don't read it. I've memorized it. Have dialogue, and I'm singing a role that she's elderly and very unhappy, and so when you're old and unhappy, usually you're what we call a mezzo-soprano, which is lower than a soprano. And I am singing lower notes in this operetta than I have sung in 30 years.
Was that a challenge?
It absolutely was. But I'm enjoying it. I've taken it on.
I can tell that I think at some point, isn't it fun after you've done the amazing things that you've done, then you're in a role, you're doing something new that's testing the boundaries of what you're used to doing.
It totally is. And as I'm kind of wafting a little bit from the soprano repertory that I've been singing all these years, as one matures, one finds that there are other roles that you have to start branching out into. And my next season, actually, or this coming season, is full of mezzo-y type of things. I'm going back to Cagliari in Sardinia to sing the mother in the opera Hansel and Gretel. It's a role that I covered at the Metropolitan 2 seasons ago. We did it in English at the Met. I'm doing it in German in Cagliari.
Did you have to learn German, or did you already have a...
I learned it.
How does that work? Do you learn it phonetically? How do you learn? You have to learn a language for a part, and then you have to sing.
That's right.
I mean, that's a whole nother thing.
Well, you know,
I mean, I can ask for margaritas in Spanish and where the bathroom is. Dos cervezas por favor. I got that. But how do you do this in German? You have to sing it.
And it's always easier if you do speak the language. And so I was very lucky coming from a European background. I have spoken French and Portuguese almost all my life, and so then adding Italian and Spanish was pretty close, was good, easy because they're close. German was a little bit out there, but I sang in Germany for many, many years. And look, when I first got to Germany, the only thing I wanted to learn how to say is, how do I get the hell out of Germany?
God bless Germany.
Yeah, God bless.
If you like beer and kraut, you're good.
Yes.
All the sauerkraut.
Go bratwurst.
Bratwurst. Oh my God. I've been. I love it. I mean, the people are lovely. It's too cold for me.
But when you don't speak the language, and at that time, this was 30 years ago, you kind of felt like an outsider. But it has changed now, and so now I like the fact that, you know, I speak the language, so I really can get into the parts and stuff.
So speaking of parts, tell me just, and I did not prep you for this question.
No.
Tell me favorite role you've ever sung, you've ever done. Because you've been at the Met, and a lot of people don't understand, the Met's more than just that show that you guys see on E! There's a whole bunch of stuff going on at the Met. I mean, it's a beautiful show. You got the whole red carpet, but there's actual amazing performances going on at the Met.
Yes, the Metropolitan Opera has been around for a very long time, and it is the pinnacle of every opera singer in the world wants to make it to the Met. And I've been very fortunate. I have been singing there since 1992. On and off, you know, a lot of my years were spent in Europe for my career, but you know, they're still interested, which is such a joy and such a pleasure, and it's such an honor. I mean, this whole business is terrific. And what else did you ask me? Favorite role, yes. Okay. What
do you like to sing the most? Like I would think singing, and by singing I mean singing. I'm not saying, you know, American Idol singing. I'm talking about opera singing.
My favorite operatic role is probably Tosca by Puccini. It's a very dramatic.
And what do we know from that? Because I've seen it, but
probably nothing.
Puccini is that's a sad one. It's got the. Is that the one that has the clown? There's a clown face.
No, that's actually Pagliacci.
Pagliacci. Yes.
That is the Festina Tuba,
yes,
which is sung by the tenor.
And then you're sad,
and then you're sad, and he kills everybody. He's
you're
sad
all gone,
and mad.
baby.
I know Tosca's a fiery diva who's in love with a painter, and then there's the head of police, the chief of police, that's in love with her too. No, in lust with her. And everybody dies at the end, and it's incredible music.
Why that? So the role, the music.
Everything. And then there's another opera by Verdi called Nabucco, which I have done over 200 times in my career, which is...
Wow.
Good job,
That's
Sue.
actually amazing.
It's wonderful.
Will we know anything from? Like, I'm trying to familiarize them with.
I know.
Remember that they hear classical music, and by they I mean me too. You hear it in everything else. You just don't know it, and that's the part when you go to opera. You're like, God, I know that song. It could be Kill the Wabbit. It could be whatever, but there's something familiar about it.
Nabucco, probably not so much, but it's a great story, and it's about love and father-daughter relationships and everything. So it's very true to real life, and it's wonderful. Of course, Barber of Seville, which is another great tune. Everyone knows that.
We actually all know that.
Figaro. Right. And I'm actually going to, I'm sorry, I'm like, hello, bio.
Please do it. I like it. No, that's what I want you to do.
I'm doing 2 performances of Barber of Seville next season with Palm Beach Opera.
Wonderful.
And I will be singing the role of Berta, who is the housemaid, but she's quite another comic part, and lots of fun. And before I do it in Palm Beach, I'll be doing it down in Vero Beach, where we are singing on August 18th, I think. August 18th, we are singing in Vero Beach. And so if you come see me as Kadisha on August 18th at the Community Church in Vero Beach, then you can come back in February and see me play The Maid. Ha!
We like that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the performance opens for Mikado, the Mikado, tomorrow night.
Yes.
And if Nicole has to pop in on details, that's fine. It opens 7:30 tomorrow. Is opening night. This is opening night. It's
Dun,
so
dun,
exciting.
dun, dun.
I'm super excited to be part of that. Everything that Opera del Sol, Central Florida Vocal Arts, that they do in Orlando is just amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to be afraid. Come on, it's a comedy with music. How could you go wrong? So 7:30. Tell them a little detail. How long does the show go for, meaning days wise?
It's just these 3 days here at Orlando Rep, August 9th, 10th, and 11th. And then the following next weekend, we will be in Melbourne at the Scott Center. And then on Sunday afternoon, we're in Vero Beach at the Community Church. But the performances here in Orlando it's the whole kit and caboodle. We have the Space Coast Orchestra on stage with us. It's a beautiful theater with a big stage. And even though it says concert version, we are acting, wearing gorgeous costumes by my buddy Nicole.
Gorgeous costumes.
Gorgeous
guys.
costumes. It's beautiful, and it is staged. We are staged, which means we're not just standing in front of a music stand and sing. There is not a music stand in sight, and
it's a real show.
It's a real
guys.
show. It's a totally
Immersive.
It's
kind of.
immersive.
Yes.
Oh, I like that word.
It's
immersive.
incredible, and there will be super titles in English and in Japanese.
Wonderful.
So, I mean, everybody should come. It's really.
I'm so excited.
I think it's going to be very, very fun.
We do these wonderful things in town, and that's why I love to be able to I'm honored to have people like Susan and Nicole on, because a lot of times you don't know about it, and so why not go out of your little 9 dots and turn off Netflix and Hulu for just a moment and get out and see what the city has to offer. And this is definitely one of the highlights. I'm super excited to be there. All right, so can you give us just a little piece of something? Is it terrible to ask an opera diva to sing a little bit? I don't want to put you on the spot or ruin your voice, but
Ruin my voice? No. It's lasted till I'm 87 here, so I probably have a few more years left in me.
Yeah, if you're 87, wow. No. I'm 950.
Oh dear.
Whatever you want.
Okay, well, Kadisha, she is definitely a wronged woman.
This is from the show.
From the show, and she has been mistreated. She has been lied to by a tenor, which happens all the time. She is not happy. Those tenors, jeez. And so that's why most sopranos most singers end up with baritones, because
we should do a whole show on that.
Baritones are more fun and they tend to be well behaved. So she sings this little aria, which is what we call a song in opera, where she's feeling really sorry for herself. Okay, let's see.
Say however much you would like.
Okay, I'll just sing a little bit of it.
Until they knock on the door. No, you're good.
Okay. Okay. Oh, living eye, come tell me why, when hope is gone, dost thou stay on? Why linger here where all is drear? Oh, living eye, come tell me why, when hope is gone, dost thou stay on? So now you have to come and see how her happy ending happens.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Oh my God, that's so good. All right, so don't you want to go to the show? We're going to share all of the show contact information, how you can get a ticket for tomorrow night. Over the weekend, you want to get involved with Opera del Sol, Center for Vocal Arts. You want to hear beautiful Susan sing her amazing songs for them at the Mikado show. So we always like to ask about mentorship. I was telling you earlier, it's super important. People need to be mentored in our world. And so can you share any mentor that was important to you, somebody who impacted your life, maybe that helped you along the way?
You know, I think mentorship begins at home. And my parents were always extremely supportive of me wanting to be a musician. You know, being an artist and a musician is a risky career at best. There's always much more supply than demand. And with the continuing emergence of millions of talented young singers and the diminution,
I like that.
The shrinking of possibilities and theaters and performances, you really have to have someone to help you or to give you advice. I mean, it's the olden days of come on honey and I'll make you a star. Doesn't happen anymore. You have to make yourself a star by being prepared, being professional, and most of all, having a passion for this. I have only wanted to do this since the first day I started singing.
I love it.
It is my sunshine. It is my starlight. It's where I breathe. It's where I enjoy. And the passion that I feel for it, I try to give to my audiences. I have been so blessed that I was given this gift. I've worked really, really hard to make it my life, to, you know, and my not my hobby, my employment, but I wouldn't have wanted to do anything else. I wouldn't have wanted to do anything else. And that's why when opportunities such as this opportunity to be part of the Mikado comes along at this stage of my life and this stage of my career, it's yet another blessing. It's so incredible, and I love Nicole, and I love Teresa, and I love my sweet director, Kit Clado. He's just my big teddy bear. I'm married to my own teddy bear at home, who's wonderful.
Kit's definitely a teddy bear.
But Kit is a teddy bear, and it's been a joy working with him.
Well, you're a joy to have on the show. That was so awesome. I got moved and teary-eyed at the very end there.
Thank you.
I love when people talk about their passion, because you obviously have such a passion. You're also a very grateful, gratitude person, which I heard, and it makes such a difference in our lives. You guys need to focus on that, in my opinion. Thank you for being on the show. I'm so excited for tomorrow night. The Mikado. Tomorrow night at Orlando Repertory Theater, we're going to share all of the links. Opera del Sol, Center for Vocal Arts, Nicole Dupre always brings on the most amazing people. We're so thankful to have her as a part of the supporters in our city and of the TED Show and everything we're trying to do. We love you guys. We love you guys too. So go out. Yes, please. All you.
One thing I do want to say for tomorrow, we have a special thing just for opening night. We are going to have the Taiko Japanese drummers from Epcot opening the show. And then we also partnered with the Orlando, or the Orange County Regional History Center. So we have a whole lobby display that was donated by the History Center. We have family kimonos. We are partnering with a Japanese American artist, and she has about 12 different pieces of art inside the Orlando Repertory lobby. So you can go in there today, even if it's not open, and we will be displaying all that until Sunday. So when you walk in and you get your drink and you're waiting to go in, you're going to experience everything before you even see this amazing talent on stage. So come and see it, and thanks for having us on.
Thank you guys. Thanks Nicole. Thanks Susan. Thanks Brian. Thanks for all you guys supporting the show. Support this show. It's going to be amazing. We love you. Mwah. We'll see you tomorrow night. You want to go, I promise. And I promise you we'll give you the links. See you tomorrow.